we ever had.
Yeah.
So how is the 20
Let me know when it's going on. Huh?
It should be.
What are you listening to? What are you? Let me know when it's. Oh, that's it, right? Yeah, that's what I'm. All right. It's going on. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. All right, so we're on chapter 64. قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى باب الجار الصالح. This is the chapter on the righteous neighbor. All right, the righteous neighbor. All right, so this is hadith number 116. Hadith number 116 for the people who have the proper Adab al-Mufrad.
I'll have it.
Huh?
I'll have it. 116, you see, look. 116.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
There you go. It's proper.
All right, so Bismillah. حدثنا محمد بن كثير. All right, Muhammad ibn Kathir, he is al-Abdi. قال أخبرنا سفيان الثوري عن حبيب ابن أبي الثابت قال حدثني خميل. Other narrations they put him, his name is Jamil, but his name is Khumail. And his full name is Khumail ibn Abdul Rahman. He's the Mawla Nafi' ibn Abdul Harith, the narrator, the one who's going to narrate the hadith. He's the Mawla of him, Khumail. Khumail is Majhul. Majhul. Alright. Yeah, nobody from any, nobody from amongst the people of the Ilm al-Hadith that are like, have a say-so in the affairs of people. Nobody said that he was, no, they won't accept his hadith, basically. Majhul al-Hadith. Alright. So he's Majhul. And Nafi' ibn Abdul Harith رضي عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من سعادة المرء المسلم المسكن الواسع وجار الصالح والمركب الهني. Alright, so this as far as this chain of narration, it is da'if. Alright, so we'll go over the actual meaning of the hadith. Alright, so he said from amongst the things that, they bring happiness to a Muslim man, and he mentioned al-maskan al-wasi', to have because if your house is too narrow and too restricted, you feel restricted and narrow, but if you have a big house and room to move around in, it makes you happy. وَجَارَ صَالِح, that you have a righteous neighbor, not a neighbor who's playing music all the time, throwing beer cans. I don't have that, but I'm just saying, I've seen it before, so alhamdulillah. I do have the neighbors that play the Mexican music all night long, but I think they throw the beer cans in front of their own house though, but not in front of mine. So righteous neighbor. Wal marakabu al hani, just a very, very good, thing that you ride on. Whatever the animal is that you're using to ride. In our case, it will be a car. To have a car that just runs smoothly, man. It's not breaking down every 20 days and you got to go put it in the mechanic. That's not a marakab al-hani. That's get a camera. Yeah. So but like I said, the chain of narration for this specific narration is da'if, but lahu shawahid. All right, and I'm going to read the shahid of the hadith. The hadith that has an authentic chain of narration. I'm not going to read the whole chain. I'll just read the Sahabi, but you can go back and check it. This is from Sahih Musnad. مما ليس في الصحيحين الشيخ موضوع رحمه الله. And so عن سعد بن أبي وقاص, so you can find this hadith in the Musnad of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, because the Musnad is a Musnad. So that means it's set up by the Sahabi, so you go find the Sahabi and you find this hadith. It's probably it's about the 6th or 7th hadith or something like that he narrated from Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, من سعادة ابن آدم ثلاثة. وَمِن شِقْوَةِ ابن آدم ثلاثة. So the things that bring him happiness are three things. We're talking about the dunyawi things. We're not talking about the deen. It's just the dunyawi things. So this is across the board. This is for everybody. You know, Muslim, kafir, anybody. You know, these are the three things that bring you happiness as far as your dunya. And there's three things that bring you grief and sadness and unhappiness and unease in your dunya. So he said, "Min sa'adati ibn Adam, al-mar'atu as-salihah." And this is a better narration. I like this narration. This is the authentic narration. He said, from amongst the things, he said the three things that bring happiness to the son of Adam. He said, a righteous woman. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, wallahi sadaq. How much a righteous woman can make your life so much better. And how much a woman who's not righteous can turn your hair gray and make you old even in your young age. But wallahi sahih. A righteous woman, just to be able to go home and have a wife who's practicing the deen, no doubt. That is from, like, if there's anything, one thing that you ever wanted in the dunya, let it be that. And everything else that you get from the dunya, yeah, you get it, you don't. But like this, nah, this is, well, if you had everything in the dunya, but you had a woman who's not righteous, well, none of it will matter. You couldn't benefit, and you couldn't be happy with anything that you had. She would destroy your happiness and everything. And the same thing goes with the woman towards a man. If you have a righteous woman who has a husband who's not, has no concern with the deen, he just does a little bare minimum of what he can do to be Muslim, but then he acts stupid the rest of the time, she's just gonna drive her insane too. She'll start to get old. So it's just like, yeah, man, that's no doubt. Al-mar'atu as-salihah. And then after that he said, well, maskanu salih. You have a house, a good house. And you know, it's built properly. It's not, things are breaking, floors are busting, and things are, you know, light bulbs are bursting, and you know, it's a good house. Everything's functional. And it makes you just what? At ease. Because if you're having to fix everything, and you know, today the plumbing's messed up, tomorrow the electricity's messed up, after a week, you know, you finally get everything fixed and then something else breaks in the house, it stresses you out. It stresses you out. So just to have just like a house, a meskan, a place that you can go home and just relax in. Because like, khalas, man, you have to deal with so much out and about, you know, in the dunya. What do you want to do? Go home and have to go through chaos at home too. So, and this is what he said. He said, and the third thing, he said what? وَالْمَرَكَبَ الصَّالِحِ. You know, same thing. So we're talking about what we have today. We have cars, right? No, I'm reading it's a hadith from Sahih ibn Hibban. It's from the book of Sheikh Mughal, right? No, I read that hadith, but we're going over the authentic version of it. All right, so he said, وَالْمَرَكَبَ الصَّالِحِ. So we talked about that. If you have a car, same thing. You go out in the dunya and you're trying to get home, and your car is messing up, your car is breaking down, your car is doing, and you know, it stresses you out. By the time you get home, you know, you're just looking for a fight now. You know, you're looking for an argument. And then if you come home and you got a house that's broken, and a wife that's messed up and acting stupid and spends all her time on TikTok, man, I mean, you're like, you know, within a year or 2 years, you're like contemplating suicide, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're just like, well, how can I get out of this? How can I get out of this? So just to have those blessings. But the thing is like how many evil pieces of garbage of a man has that righteous woman, but doesn't understand the value of it, you know? So that becomes a test for her to have to be with a man like that, who's not righteous. But I'm just, you know, you see this, right? And then how many righteous men end up with just, you know, a fulla doll, you know, this girl that just wants, like, her whole dream is to be like a Instagram model or something like that, and he ends up with one of them as a wife, and then drives him insane. It's a test, akhi. But if you do have, if Allah blesses you to have that righteous woman, the righteous, the good house, be thankful, and use those things to, you know, because you have less stress. You have less stress, that means you're going to have what?
More happiness.
More happiness and less stress, that means that you're going to have more energy and more willingness to do things. So use that energy and repay the loan, akhi. Repay the loan. Start repaying the loan right now. What's that loan?
With Allah.
Yeah, go back and pay that back. Start doing acts of worship. Don't get, oh man, this is cool, man. I'm living the good life, and then get all no. Use that relaxation, that lack of stress to put in an effort to use your free time to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to learn the deen, to do extra acts of goodness, extra acts of righteousness. No, wait till the hadith is finished. What?
No, it's just Al-Bani, rahimahullah, he said Sahih li-ghayri.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm bringing the hadith, that's the shahid for this. It's Sahih li-ghayri. This is the Sahih narration. That's going to support this. That's what I'm going over right now. He said, وَمِن شِقْوَةِ ibn Adam, and the things that bring him unhappiness. The opposite of those three. Alright. So he said, Al-mar'atu as-su. An evil woman. An evil woman. Oh yeah, Rabbi. You ever get tested with one of them? You know, so, but I mean the same thing. Like I said, the women get tested also with a man who's just evil. He said, well, maskan as-su. And just a bad house, bad living quarters, bad, everything's busting, everything's, it's narrow, it's constricted, you don't have space, maybe you have bad ventilation, you don't have good air moving around the house, maybe there's bad insulation, whatever makes the house uncomfortable. He said, well, marakab as-su, that pinto, that thing that keeps that car that just keeps breaking down. Car that just can't work, you have to keep getting it fixed and you spend more money trying to keep the car running than you spent to buy it in the first place, So these are all the things because they bring you stress and they stress you out. And all of these things, if all of these things are messed up in your life, all three together, how are you going to worship Allah properly? How are you going to put so much focus on the deen if these things are messed up in your life? You know what I'm saying? You go you're trying to go out and make a living, so you got to go to work. Where are you going to leave? You're leaving a bad house with a bad wife to go to a job. So you're already angry at the world, leaving your house. You get stuck in traffic, you're cursing everybody out, flicking everybody off, acting like a fool. Then you get to work. How are you supposed to sit here and work and focus on your job and do everything? Now your car is messing up. Now you got to go back home and deal with the bad house and the bad wife. And so, these are situations, and if people find themselves in these situations, it's your job to do what? No, I'm talking about the bad stuff, man. I'm talking about if you're in one of these bad situations. Stop complaining and stop crying about your situation and change it. What? The biggest problem is people, they don't like their lives, but they get up and they relive it every single day with nothing. How did you get in this situation in the first place? Most of the people, we talk about this all the time, is that the people get in these types of situations in their lives because they don't have anything that they're living for. Their lives are empty. So they live every single day from the time that they wake up to the time that they go to bed in what? Survival mode. They're in survival. They're just trying to get through the day. Let me just get through the day. Yeah, you cannot make any progress in your life when you're stuck in survival mode because you're just trying to survive the day. How are you going to progress? So what are you living your life for? You're living your life just to get up and go to work and pay the bills and go to sleep at night and be stressed out all your whole life. Is that what you're living for? If that's what you're living for, khalas. And then you died a long time ago. You died a long time ago. In fact, you might have never even lived. So you got to change your life, akhi. You got to get, start prioritizing and start looking at what got you in that situation in the first place. I won't say 9 times out of 10. I'll say 10 times out of 10. What got you in that situation is your lack of concern about the deen, you're falling into sins, and now you're in this punishment. So you want to get out of the punishment? Change your life. Take the accountability for yourself and start getting your life into your hands, where it's like now you're not putting it in other people's hands. You put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you do the things that you got to do to change your life. And you start to see change start to happen. If you start to become righteous and the woman's still acting stupid, hey, you're divorced. Go on. Now let's move on with our lives. Now, now you might be even deserving of a righteous woman. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you that blessing. And you might have, and then you start to see a better house, a better life, easier, But then once Allah gives you that, Don't get comfortable and say, all right, I made it. I'm good now. Nah, because you got to repay that now. You got to pay that back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you what you were after. Now you started to live with purpose. And Allah gave it to you, gave you the righteous wife, gave you the good house, gave you the nice car that you can move around and do everything. Now get busy paying that back. It's not time to sit down and get comfortable. So that's what a lot of people do, is once they do actually wake up and start taking responsibility for their lives, what do? They do it. They work hard. And you see them really working hard to change their lives. And they do a lot by the permission of Allah. But once they get to that point where they were aiming to get to, what do? I'm cool now. I got it. I've gotten to my final destination. That's your final destination in the dunya.
More like the movie Final Destination.
No, your final destination is Jannah. And you're not going to get to Jannah by sitting back and retiring while you're still alive. It's no retiring. You owe a debt now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you all these blessings and taking you out of all this foolishness that you were in, out of unhappiness, and gave you happiness in this dunya. You better pay that back now. You got to get to work. It's not time to sit back and do nothing. If you want to keep that righteous wife, you want to keep that good life that you have, then you need to be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all that He's given you. And the only way that you can thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by doing what? Worshiping Him, using His obedience. وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَئِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. So just remember that where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He announced to the people, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ أَعْلَنَ, He voiced it, He announced it out to the people. لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ, if only that you're thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you what? When He gives you the blessing, that you use the blessing that He gives you in His obedience. Use the blessing that you have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase you. So if you're not seeing that increase in your life, then obviously there's the lack of increase of good in your life is because of the what? The absence of shukr, the absence of being thankful and grateful for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. If you want that, if you want this, you need to do that. But if you choose not to, وَلَئِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ, if you want to continue on and being ungrateful for all the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, what? إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ, and my punishment is very, very severe for those people. So, the punishment of Allah is not a joke. You want good in your life, you take responsibility and start becoming thankful. Look at the blessings that you have and be thankful for them. Use whatever energy and time that you have to start thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worshiping Allah correctly. Learning your deen, reading the Quran, reading the Sunnah, and you'll start to see a change. You think Allah's going to leave you? Think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to leave you? Allah doesn't know your situation. Are you that foolish to think that Allah is going to leave you? But if you continue on, Allah leaves you to yourself. And if Allah leaves you to yourself, what? Yes, your destruction, akhi. وَلَا تَقِينِي لِنَفْسِي طَرَفَةَ عَيْنٍ. This is a dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to make in the morning and the evenings. وَلَا تَقِينِي, don't leave me to myself. Well, not تَقِينِي, what is it? وَلَا تَكِلْنِي. I'm thinking of another dua. وَلَا تَكِلْنِي لِنَفْسِي طَرَفَةَ عَيْنٍ. Don't leave me to myself. Yeah, ila nafsi. Check it.
No, it is ila nafsi.
So don't leave me to myself. Wala tarafat ayn. Not even for a blinking of an eye. Not even for a blinking of an eye. So that small period of time, don't even leave me to myself. So remain thankful and focus on the hadith. Inshallah, focus on what we need to do as Muslims. And khalas, inshallah. All right, chapter 65, because this is connected to this. So that hadith that I read, the second hadith, is it's narrated by Ibn Hibban, but you can find it in the Sahih Musnad of Shaykh Mubil rahimahullah. All right, so Bab Ajar as-Su. So this is the good neighbor. The good neighbor is the one that gives you all your rights. He's righteous, he's clean, doesn't throw garbage in your yard, doesn't play music at night. And if he sees you, he tries to visit you, tries to encourage you. Hey man, let's go to the masjid, akhi, where you at? That's a good neighbor. But all right, now we're going to look at the bad neighbor. The guy that plays music all night. All right, so now, حدثنا صدقة. All right, صدقة is Ibn Fadl al-Marwazi. أخبرنا سليمان هو ابن حيان عن ابن عجلان. Ibn Ajlan is Muhammad ibn Ajlan al-Madani. All right, Ibn Ajlan al-Madani. And you'll see him a lot. In fact, while I was waiting for you guys to call the Adhan, and I was reading Sunan Abi Dawood, I probably read about 5 hadiths that he was in the chain of narration. Could that be? Your guess is better than mine.
There's multiple. I think it's a bunch of Yemenis. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are.
So Ibn Ajlan, Muhammad Ibn Ajlan al-Madani. All right, now, the Muhammad Ibn Ajlan al-Madani is Saduq. What does that mean?
Like he's someone of very much truthfulness.
No, it means that his hadith, no, when they use this in the hadith, it means that his hadith is like low, but it's still acceptable. Except if he's narrating the hadith, so they'll accept his hadith. Except if he's narrating the hadith and from who? Sa'id al-Maqburi. So let's look at the chain of narration. Let's see who's narrating the hadith from. So An Ibn Ajlan and Sa'id. And who's Sa'id here? Al-Maqburi. So they went and they said that if he narrates from Sa'id al-Maqburi, that the hadith is fihi ittirab. And what does this mean, ittirab? We talked about this before. What is ittirab fil hadith? You have ittirab fil sanad and ittirab fil matan. Two types of ittirab. Ittaraba, what does it mean?
No,
it means it's not thabit. Like it's shaky. It's like So if that comes in a hadith, what does that mean? Like, for example, he narrates the hadith one time from this person, then another time from this person. He forgets who the person, so he keeps narrating it differently. Or he narrates the matan of the hadith, the body of the hadith with different wordings. One time a man gave the Prophet something, and the other time the Prophet gave the man something. He keeps, flipping it. So this is ittirab, and this is from the hadith of Da'if, the person. But with this hadith, now, because I said, if he narrates it from Sa'id, then the hadith is mutarab, which would make it da'if, but this hadith is one of those exceptions because of al-mutaba'ah. So they went back and they followed up on the hadith, and they realized, okay, this hadith is correct. Like he narrated this hadith correctly. So this hadith, inshallah, what is Shaykh al-Albani stated for this hadith? Hasan or what?
Hasan.
Yes, Hasan.
For An Abi Hurairah, correct?
No. Yes.
Hasan.
Yeah. All right. So after that, it says Sa'id and Sa'id al-Maqburi and Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu قال كان من دعاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إني أعوذ بك من جار السوء في دار المقام فإن جار الدنيا يتحول. All right. So this is like I said, this hadith is Hasan because of the mutaba'ah. Because they went back and they checked it, and so there's no ittirab in this. All right, so this is the dua. So Abu Hurairah, he reported that this is a dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to make. Oh Allah, inni a'udhu bika. So I seek refuge with you, min jar as-su. All right, from a evil neighbor, from a bad neighbor. Fi dar al-muqam. Fi dar al-muqam, it means what? The place that you stay. Because your house is where you stay. Every night you go back to this house. That's your muqam. Yeah. All right. Because there's a change. It's hard to understand it from this narration because there's a more authentic narration than I'm going to tell you right now. All right, so he said, Fidar al-Muqam. So that's the place, your house where you stay. Because you have to deal with this neighbor what? Every day. So, and so the Prophet ﷺ, he was seeking refuge with this, with Allah from this. Like, I don't, protect me from this. From a jar as-su, Fidar al-Muqami. فَإِنَّ جَارَ الدُّنْيَا. And this is where the problem is. فَإِنَّ جَارَ الدُّنْيَا. Because the actual other narrations, they say jar al-Badiya. Al-Badiya, not al-Dunya. But al-Dunya here is referring to what? Al-Badiya. What does that mean? The desert, like the nomads, the Bedouins. Because their neighbor what? They move a lot. So he might be next to one person today and alone the next day. A week later, he's over here. So he changes, like, because they go according to the seasons. So you got like the camel herders, right? You see like in Mauritania, when they spend 6 months here and 6 months there. They move around, they don't stay in one place. So the maqam, the place that you stay, that's where you live. But in the jar al-dunya, and like I said in another narration, the jar al-badiya. All right, yatahawwal. Yatahawwal, it means what?
Changes a
It's
lot.
constantly changing. Constantly changing, because you're always going to have a different neighbor, unless you're traveling with the same people all the time. But that's different, because that's like a rafiq. The person that you travel with is what? A rafiq. Did you pay attention to the class? Akhi, let them pray. All right. So the next hadith, we're going to read this because it's similar to this one, and then we got something that I need to read in Sunan Abi Dawud, inshallah. So حدثنا مخلد ابن مالك قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن ابن مغراء قال حدثنا بريد ابن عبد الله عن أبي بردة عن أبي موسى رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تقوم الساعة حتى يقتل الرجل جاره وأخاه وأباه. All right, this hadith is Hasan. All right, there are some issues here, but but what does Shaykh al-Albani say?
Hassan.
Hasan, all right. There's some people like, lay in, but the hadith in its totality is Hasan. All right. All right, so the meaning, so Abu Musa radiallahu anhu, he said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the hour will not be established حتى يقتل رجل, until a man kills his neighbor, his brother, and his father.
This guy just like really wants blood.
Well, I mean, this is happening. Not necessarily, does he kill them all? Or is like one man will kill his neighbor, another man might kill his... But you see this. You see this. Family arguments. And it could be an argument in the family between the father and the brother. And he's already angry. And then the neighbor comes and gets involved. And he takes out a gun and kills all three of them. And, in America, please. That's definitely, I'm pretty sure if we went back through the news, we could find so many cases where this has happened. So many different cases. People kill their neighbors all the time. People kill their parents all the time here. Not all the time, it's not like happening like every day, but you know what I'm saying? It's at least like once or twice a year. In some city in America, you hear some story about a man killing his father or his mother or something like that. Yeah, it's normal. Not normal, you know what I'm saying? Not normal, but it doesn't surprise you when you see it in the news now. So, no doubt. So this just goes to show you again how close to the establishment of the hour that we're getting, because we keep talking about this over and over and over. The khutbah was about this. Yesterday was about this, the class, and now we just keep going, don't we? All right. Now, what did I have to read in Sunan Abi Dawud?
There are no questions.
Because everybody's listening and paying attention, not like you.
No. So I think there's barely anyone in the chat. There's only 9 people. I think because we're going a little late.
So, there's a hadith that I mentioned passingly in passing yesterday. So, I probably need to get rid of this. I had to use a receipt to put it here to hold the page because I couldn't find a bookmark quick enough, and the receipt's got like a picture on it. All right, so basically I mentioned the hadith yesterday about the 30 dajjals, but I didn't mention it. It's kind of like mentioned it in passing. And that caused a confusion with somebody in the chat because I guess the person thought that there's going to be like 30 actual dajjals. No, that's not the case. But I'm going to go over these narrations so you can see what they are. And you can see exactly what is meant by these 30 dajjals. But it's not the actual, one actual big dajjal, but then there's 30 that paved the way.
False dajjals.
Yeah, no, they're dajjals. They're not false nothing.
I meant like.
But they're dajjals from the actual language perspective, not from the, yeah.
Wait, so what does Masih mean in
We already went over that. We're not
I
going
know
to
like
do that.
Masah, but doesn't it mean like aren't all prophets considered Masih?
No, they call him Masih ad-Dajjal because some of the people say Masaha, for the ayn.
Then why is Isa ibn Maryam called
Because it's Masaha.
Masih?
There's different meanings of the word Masih, and it comes from the word Masaha. So what is used for Isa alayhi salam and what is used for the Dajjal, different things. Yeah. But that's an issue for another day. Right now, we're going to go over, I'm going to read 2 different narrations. One of the narrations is in Sahih Bukhari, and another narration is in Sunan Abi Dawud. Both of these narrations are authentic. I'm just going to read them from Sunan Abi Dawud because I didn't feel like bringing Sahih Bukhari too. Sahih Bukhari is about that much bigger than Sunan Abi Dawud, and I didn't feel like bringing all these books. But the one in Bukhari is actually here. Is it going to be the exact same chain of narration? Allahu Akbar. All right, so the one in Bukhari, let me see, right here. حدثنا عبد الله بن مسلمة. I was just reading him today. And this was talking about when you see the benefit of reading the change the narrations over and over and over again. Because you're going to see this name a lot, Abdullah ibn Maslama. And the first thing that should pop in your head is what? Al-Qa'nabi. All right, his laqab, is what? Al-Qa'nabi. But like I said, this comes from reading the hadith over and over and over again. So he said, حدثنا عبد الله بن مسلمة حدثنا عبد العزيز يعني ابن محمد عن العلاء عن أبيه عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تقوم الساعة حتى يخرج ثلاث دجالون كلهم يزعمون أنه رسول الله. So this hadith is actually متفق عليه. It's in Bukhari and Muslim. Alright, so he said Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the hour will not be established until 30 Dajjals come out. Now Dajjal, we talked about it before, is a liar. And Dajjal is from the Sighat al-Mubalagha, which means that he's a huge liar, he's full of lies. Full of lies and deception. And how did he describe these 30 people? He said, كُلُّهُمْ يَزْعُمُوا أَنَّهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. All the 30 of these people, they claim to be a messenger of Allah. They claim to be a prophet. They claim this. So these are the people. Without these 30 people are meant to do what? To pave the way for the big Dajjal. So when he comes out, the people will follow him. Because if you follow these other 30 liars and all these other people that have called you away from the deen of Allah, and we know from our deen that there's no messenger after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's over. And anybody claims that there's another messenger after Muhammad, he's left his deen. He's a kafir, khalas. And anybody that claims to be a prophet is what? Left his deen. So that's that. That's a pillar of this, pillar of our beliefs. So we understand that. So Muslims should never fall into this. Now we know, all right, but the thing is, other people fall into this, and they believe these false prophets. Sit down, akhi, tafadhal.
Yeah, we're gonna go maybe next time. Do you have like a channel or something?
This is on live stream right now.
Do you have like a channel online on YouTube?
Yeah, this is on YouTube right now. We're live streaming it right now.
It's called Ilm Institute, but you could just search it in English.
So we know the times and we will come the right time.
Are
Sorry
you-
to interrupt you.
No, do you live in Fresno?
I live in Fresno. Yeah.
Here, take my number. So I could put you in the Mesha Aqaba group chat for the times.
How often do you guys do this?
Almost like every day.
Every day?
We try to every day.
That's what it's like.
I mean, he'll put you in the group. So if we don't have a class that day, that way he can inform you. He can inform you that,
Since it's live,
Yeah.
I don't do anymore.
Where are you guys from?
We're from here, from Fresno.
No, like.
Also.
We're from here.
Oh, alhamdulillah, I told you, I said, they look like Yemenis.
I mean, I can tell the Yemenis are here.
Except for
Yeah.
him. Actually, no.
Just make sure, where is it at?
But where from Yemen?
From
Yeah, so recently,
Eden,
this
from
Eden.
Oh, Junubiyun, mashallah.
جنوب شمال
This
زول.
one.
No. I'm من الحبشة أخي. Yeah. I lived in the Shimal, so I'm مع الدحباش.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, ما شاء الله.
تبغى تروح اسمك داخل.
Yeah.
Your name.
Yeah, Salah. I'll send it to you right now. Since you called me, I'm gonna
I
send
go
it.
to Bedr, but they don't have like halqa or anything. I just go there, sit by myself, read some books. Yeah,
I don't know, we do this like, we try to do it like every night.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
because I know these days the Muslims they're just doing their business, selling beer, while you guys are doing good. You're teaching young people to
Keep 'em in the masjid on the
continue the
weekend.
religion. Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are getting
Keep
away
'em-
from religion.
Keep you here, keep
Yeah.
you out
God
of the
bless
smoke
you,
shops,
God,
man.
Yeah, the smoke shop.
yeah, we're trying to like seek knowledge that way we have the knowledge to increase our like Muslim community. Cause
يا أخي أهلا وسهلا, man.
yeah,
God
knowledge-
bless you, yeah.
knowledge is
You're
like the
doing a
best
good
thing
job.
that we can have. You know,
Yeah.
know how to worship Allah and know how to bring people.
Alaikum salam.
I'm sorry to interrupt you
No,
guys.
no problem, أخي. جزاكم الله خير. حياكم الله.
Jazakumullah khair, you know. Thank you.
Allah يبارك فيكم. All right, so I was saying, like with the 30 Dajjals, this is all to what? To pave the way for that final Dajjal. So you see, in the deception, it gets bigger and bigger over time. And the thing about it now is that the people have to be very, very wary. And wallahi, akhi, I warn you guys. I'm going to continue to warn you and warn you and warn you. If you don't, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to somebody else. I don't care who you listen to, but listen to somebody and take heed of this. Right now, because we live in this age of technology, so the level of deception that these people can do nowadays is unimaginable. It's just things that we couldn't even imagine before. Yeah, in China, they've been putting the holograms up in the clouds where the people see like houses, and then they say, oh no, it wasn't a hologram, it was because of some weather. Yeah, you telling me some type of weather is going to put a castle on the clouds? Stop playing with the people. But you see the deception. You see the deception now that they're using all these holograms, and they're using the technology, and they're using all these fake events and all this just to deceive the people. And the people are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. Every single time that these deceptions come up, they just take a whole group of people. And you think that if you're not able to move past these deceptions, rule number one, if you live in this age, you don't believe anything in video. With AI and all this type of stuff, all video can be tampered with. And video is not used as evidence in Islam, al-batta, ever. We do not use video as evidence. And in the Sharia, you have to have a physical person witnessing these events, and not through a camera. He has to witness the event. So even if you were to catch a person committing fornication on video, and you said you got 5 people to witness this fornication, it's not accepted because of the type of deception and the times that we live in. Now you can't believe audio. If you hear audio and it sounds off, you go back and you check it. This is the time of going back and checking information. Because the type of deception that we're living in now is nothing compared to what the Dajjal is going to come with. And if you're failing these tests now, what are you going to do then? What are you going to do?
People believe Al Jazeera.
No, people believe all news. Forget Al Jazeera. All of this, look, who's behind Donald Trump? Iblis. Who's behind Joe Biden? Iblis. But you're going to get fooled to thinking like, but Donald Trump has got the same corporations supporting him. The same corporations are supporting both of them. Where do you think they're getting their money from? But you want to be stupid and fall for it. You get duped for all this stuff, You believe all this stuff. All of this stuff is all deception. It's all deception. It's like WWE, man. When you think, you're sitting there thinking like, it's all real. No, it's not.
WWE.
Yeah, it is. It's WWE, fake blood on the ear and everything, we're not going to go into all that type of stuff.
That's so sad when I found out that was fake.
What's that?
He said
WWE when I found out it was fake.
You were heartbroken, weren't you? You're like, it's not real? It's not real? Oh my God. What am I going to do with my life now? All my heroes are actors, but they are. And all the heroes of these people nowadays are what? They're actors. These people are actors. Donald Trump is an actor, and he's always been an actor, so is Biden, but people fall for this deception. They keep falling for this deception. Shut the TVs off. Shut all this stuff off. And the people are like, if you're gonna use social media, use it for khair. Use it for what? For spreading the deen and learning about the deen. But you got these people, wallahi, they want to sit there and cause stress to themselves all day long watching the news. Like, how can you sleep at night watching the news nowadays? And it's nothing but just foolishness and deception. So if you want to fall for that, then that's you. But honestly, if you want to not fall for that, just shut this stuff off. Shut it off. That's the trap, That's the trap that they get you in. Like I said, in this age of technology, it's way worse than it's ever at any time. The type of level of deception that we live in right now is unbelievable. And it's all paving the way for that final deception. So right now, maybe 30, 40 years ago, if the Dajjal had come out 40, 50, let's say 50 years ago, I can't guarantee because only Allah knows, but I'm just saying, based on the type of population of people in those days, a lot of people wouldn't have followed the Dajjal. Now, compare 50 years ago till today, and see how many people would follow him. Because the people were like, nah, come on, man, you're our God. Even the Christians probably would have looked at him. But now look at what's happening now. Look how they've changed the perception of the people in regards to religion, and now everything's possible now. They've opened these people running around talking about aliens. Come on, man. You got 30, 40-year-old people still believing aliens. Come on, man. Like seriously, that's worse than WWE. That's believing the Cartoon Network is real. And then somebody tells you, Akhi, that's just a cartoon. That's not real. What, Tom and Jerry's not real? Yeah, I mean, seriously. You telling me I've been talking to my cat the whole time waiting for him to respond, Akhi? Yeah, seriously. If you believe in aliens, that's you. SpongeBob education 101.
University.
Yeah. Allah Mustaan. Now you believe in jinn, that's from our deen. We believe in there are jinn. And no doubt the jinn play with the people and do this type of deception. And they're working with these kuffar to what? To deceive the people. We're talking about the shayateen from the jinn. We're not talking about the Muslims. You know, the Muslims, alhamdulillah, they're Muslims. You know? But, so that was the narration of Bukhari. A Muslim, this is going to be the narration that's in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad and Sunan Abi Dawud, which is also authentic. Said, حدثنا عبيد الله بن معاذ حدثنا أبي حدثنا محمد يعني ابن عمرو عن أبي سلمة عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تقوم الساعة حتى يخرج ثلاث كذابا دجالا كلهم يكذب على الله وعلى رسوله. So here Abu Hurairah, he mentioned that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the hour will not be established until 30 liars, dajjalan. So he said kadhaban dajjalan. Alright, so that's tawqeed, like these are huge liars. كلهم يكذب على الله, and all of them are lying about Allah and His Messenger. And we see this, man. We see this amongst the people, amongst the Muslims nowadays, where these big du'at, these like celebrity du'at, they get all famous and they get this huge following and just start making up the deen as they go along, akhi. You know, and you got so many of them, you know, but these are like, you know, when he talks about 30, we're talking about like 30 big ones. We're not talking about these little, you know, nickel and dime mom and pop shop du'ats, you know, that are, you know,
even like maybe like, what's his name, quote unquote, Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad.
He could be one, Allahu Alam.
He got a big following.
Yeah, but his following was against a specific group of people. You know, these types of big liars, we're talking about the Kadab and the Dajjal, and they're gonna, you know, we're talking about people that could reach, because the Dajjal is gonna have followers across the board, akhi. You know, his main followers are gonna be the Yahud, but he's gonna have everybody, black, white, yellow, green, everybody's gonna be following him. Because in those days, akhi, it's about deen. See, the thing is, and this is a part of the deception again, that the deception is what? They want to keep you busy with these political issues. If they can't keep you busy with the political issues, they want to keep you busy with what? The race issues. You know, like, oh, because, yeah, I wear a white shirt, I wear a black shirt. Is the white shirt better than the black shirt? I mean, it's only better, well, the white clothing is better because the Prophet ﷺ said it. But I'm saying, other than that, it's just the color of a shirt. It's the same shirt, right? But this is how stupid the people are, that they keep thinking like, okay, oh, I'm white, he's black, I'm black, he's white. And then get everybody fighting each other over what? Over the color of a skin. You don't fight each other over the color of your shirt or the color of your hair or the color of anything else. What's the difference? You know, it's the same organs, the same thing that keeps me alive, keeps you alive, keeps us all alive. It's nothing different. So, you know, I need food, you need food, I need water, you need water. If I don't eat, I don't live. You don't eat, you don't live. What's all this difference? They keep you busy with the stupidest stuff. And it's always the most lowest, uneducated people. And I don't mean uneducated people like, you know, oh, they didn't graduate school, because a lot of these idiots did actually graduate school. You know, but I'm talking about lower education because they don't have any principles. They don't have any true understanding of what life's about, what their purpose of being here for, the deen. These are the people that fall for this stuff. And these are the people that will fight each other over this stuff. These are the most uneducated people that will fall for this. But it happens all the time. And unfortunately, and sadly enough, in most countries nowadays, this group of people, whatever race they are, whatever color they are, they represent the majority of the people. Uneducated, ready to just kill each other over what? Just stupid. No, over a political idea, a color of a skin, or something stupid. No beliefs, akhi, because, you know, you get a person who doesn't live his life for anything, stuck in this rut. Now he just wants to find another reason to look down on another person. So what can he find? I don't like him because he's a Muslim. I don't like him because he's black. I don't like him, you know, just trying to find anything to look down on another person. Because why? Because your life is horrible. But see, but this is the deception that spreads amongst the people. And the people accept it because why? They're stupid like that. They're not thinking like, okay, you know, who are our real enemies and who's benefiting with us going against each other and fighting each other? Who's the real benefactor here? It's not us. You know, if I go and hate you because of your political ideology, or I hate you because of your race, akhi, does that bring me any money? Do I get richer from that? Nope, but somebody is. Somebody's getting richer, or somebody's getting more control of the people. It ain't us. You know, we're the ones that, like, the taxes keep increasing, the laws keep getting passed against us. So obviously, people need to wake up and look who the real enemy is. And once you see who the real enemy is, then you're going to realize who's behind them. It's Iblis, akhi, shaitan, because shaitan is going to get the people going at each other just to keep them distracted. You know, he don't want the deen to spread. He doesn't want the people to unite on the Quran and the Sunnah. That's his nightmare. That's shaitan's nightmare, akhi. I'm into, like, giving shaitan nightmares. I'm not into, like, you know, making his dreams come true. But that's the majority of the people. They want to fight each other over these stupid ideas, and they're just making dreams come true. And we live in a time of deception. Y'all got to understand this. Get away from all this stuff, man. Turn that news off, turn all that stuff off, and leave it. Because if you can't pass these tests, you're right now, you're in the test of the 30 jobs. You know, and assess yourself and see how you're doing in this test. Now, start to imagine how you're going to do in that one. Allahumma musta'an, akhi, that's a scary thought, man.
Taking questions?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, you said go with aham fil aham. So, question Zulfiqar Abdul Qadir Khan says, Assalamu alaikum, Ustad.
Zulfiqar.
Oh, Zulfiqar.
Because it's Arabi, Zulfiqar. Zulfiqar.
If I'm watching YouTube video and I don't understand, can I say Ya Sheikh since he is not present?
Nah, you're saying it out of like ta'ajub, like surprise. Ya Sheikh, what are you saying? That's not a problem because you're just saying that out of surprise. But if you're saying the issue in the deen is that you actually saying his name thinking he's going to answer you, or, you know, you calling on him, that's a whole different issue, akhi, because that's etiquette. But yeah, I mean, it's just like you do that all the time. You listen to like, Sheikh, what are you saying? You know, that's water, don't worry. Because I saw the water, he's like, it's from here.
The other day, you remember when I hit my nose?
But that was water though. Because I told you it's the ice. It's you don't see my hand. Yeah, that's not an issue. The issue is you calling on people. Yeah, Sheikh, please help me. I'm in a bad situation, and the Sheikh is like in Saudi Arabia, and you're in Fresno. No, that's shirk, akhi. That's shirk. Mukhraj min al-millah.
Question: who would want to be in prison?
Oh, that's I guess.
Someone says, من المسلمين الحمد لله رب العالمين, says, how should we wash our arms in wudu according to the sunnah of the messenger?
We talked about this yesterday. And I just read all the hadith in Sunan Abi Dawud. I did not see this thing that y'all are talking about. You take a handful of water and you wipe over your arm. You wash your arms with it. And then you take the left hand, you wash with the, and then you take and wash the right. But you have the main thing is that you wash the isbagh al-wudu, that you make sure that you get every spot when you're making wudu. That's the most important thing.
Hamid Jamal says, so like with the names of these narrators, we really don't have to sit down, memorize them, but we should just regularly reading hadith and isnads. I
mean, if you regularly read the hadith with the asanid, and if you really, really love the sunnah, you wouldn't, I don't feel comfortable reading books of hadith without the asanid. I'll take books like Bulugh al-Maram and things like this because it's easy to memorize. But when it comes to sitting down and reading books of hadith, I don't feel comfortable reading it without the asanid, because that way you can go back and check it, you can see it. And just by sitting back and reading those hadiths over and over and over, and reading the different books of hadith, then the names are gonna repeat. But you're not gonna get those names. Like you have to sit like us, because we sat with the sheikh for years, and the sheikh's telling us, all right, this is that person, He's giving us the full name. You might not get that from the books of hadith. But you will get it if you read like Fath al-Bari and you read the explanation. So if you sit down and you read through Bukhari, you might not get all the names of the narrators, like their full names. You got to go back to Fath al-Bari, or you sit with a sheikh and you go through Bukhari. And that's what we had, that's what we did. Is we going through Bukhari day in and day out. So we keep hearing these names over and over and over and over again. The sheikh says this is Fulan, this is Fulan, this is basically what I'm doing with you is what the sheikh used to do with us. You know, so over time, these names, they just start to stick. They stick in your head.
Guy says, literally Guy, G-U-Y, says, do you think one should memorize the other riwayah after finishing hifl, or should they memorize more of the mutun talib ilm?
The different riwayat of Quran, the different qira'at he's talking about, or what? I mean, if you got one qira'ah, say that you know the Hafs, because it's the easiest one, right? After you finished it, you can start memorizing hadith, because you need the hadith for worship. You need that for worship. You know, the qira'at it has benefit, but it's not going to bring you already have the whole Quran memorized in one qira'at. One qira'ah. That's sufficient for now. Go start memorizing hadith, because you need the hadith to be worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with basira, because you need to understand the Quran and what you should be doing, you know, and acting on the Quran. And how do you act on the Quran? How do you implement it? After the Sunnah. So, but sitting there and just spending years and years and years just focusing on the qira'at only, without memorizing the Sunnah, unless you're like at least while you're memorizing the Quran that you should be taking books of hadith and reading them over and over and over and over again. A student of knowledge has not read Sahih Bukhari. I mean, can you imagine that? What do you want, man?
No, that was the next one.
Can you imagine a student of knowledge that has not read Sahih Bukhari? A long time. I'm going to kick both of y'all out, man. Y'all getting on my nerves.
No, I said, kind of like, oh, something's going on. Someone says, oh, no.
I'm talking about you.
Huh?
I'm talking about you and Safe. I'm not talking about us.
What? Oh, no, because he told me that.
It's going to be me and Ibrahim in this class. I'll kick all y'all out, man. I can read the questions myself, man. Every time I look up and I ask him a question, he's over there with his face on the phone.
Reading the comments to get ready for the questions. I think Ibn Aziz ad-Din says,
I think it's Izzuddin.
no, Aziz with an A. With the ulama whom wrote about history such as Al-Tabari, Ibn Hisham, Ibn Qutayba, and Al-Zuhri, gave figures for Roman and Persian armies in the hundreds of thousands. Are these numbers to be interpreted literally?
I won't say literally. I don't think they sat there and counted them. You know? I mean, obviously, because they know what those types of armies look like. So it's probably just like a, what is that?
Safe is going off. Oh, that's it.
No, I don't think so. Go, Ibrahim, look outside.
No, I think Safe is yelling at us. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see since they'd be under us.
No, I'm just making sure it's not something else.
Open the gate for something.
Someone's here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not.
Is it Fatima?
Anyways, what's the question? You asked it. Didn't you just ask a question?
What question?
I don't know. Go to the next question.
Sorry. من المسلمين الحمد لله رب العالمين says, if one is trying here, if someone is in another room, or to see if anyone is outside of their room, like listening for footsteps or voices, are these situations considered spying?
Again.
If one is trying to hear if someone is in another room, or to see if anyone is outside of their room, like listening to footsteps or voices, is this like are situations like these considered
I mean, if the
spying?
door is shut, it's none of your business what goes on in that room. That's why the person shut the door in the first place. Knock on the door. If they answer, they answer. They don't, they don't. Halas. If they don't answer, either one, they're sleeping, or two, they're not there, or three, they just don't want to be bothered.
No, like I think like if someone like if you're in a room and you want to hear if someone's outside your door, can you do that? Like you want to hear footsteps or
That's,
voices?
I mean, that's, yeah, because you do that in your house, right? Somebody, you want to make sure somebody's not like up at your door. Yeah, I thought it's somebody going to somebody else's room to listen to see if there's movement inside that room. Who came? Who was here? Oh, okay. Does that mean that we got to put the microphone on now?
Highly doubt it.
Mm.
Zulfiqar Abdul Qadir Khan says, if I don't know if I have wudu or not, can I break wudu on purpose and then make again?
You don't need to break it. You can go make it if you want to make it. You don't need to break it. You know, if you're absolutely unsure, I mean, you can make wudu again. You don't have to, you know. But the thing is, it goes back to the asl. You know, it's up to you. If you're in the salat, that's a whole different issue. Like, you know, you start to get shaitan doing this wasawwas to you, and you know, when you're in the salat, oh, you don't have wudu, oh, you forgot to make wudu, oh, you did this, you know, then you go back to the asl of those things. But like, if you're absolutely, like, you're out and about, you're moving around, and like, there's really major doubt, like, you know, that you don't have wudu, you might have it, you might just make it again. Akhi. You don't have to, you're gonna go around past gas just to, you know.
The qaida in usul al-fiqh al-yaqeen la yazulu al-shak. So even if you have
Now,
doubt,
but the thing is that's if you have a yaqeen to go back to. So, you know, the yaqeen in these types of situations when you're out and about generally is that a lot of the times it's kind of difficult to maintain wudu. Where's my little baby at? Huh? Right. Here, right? Okay, I'm saying he's not downstairs.
a questioner named Umar says, Ustad, what is the best way to deal with laziness and having medical conditions that make a person lethargic and low all day?
Again,
What is the best way to deal with laziness and having medical conditions that make a person lethargic and low all day?
you talk to a doctor. It's a medical condition, you talk to a doctor. You don't talk to me. I don't know nothing about no medical conditions.
I'll let you read this is the hadith question. The first two.
Which one is it? Because
Does the hadith does the following hadith also include speaking? Because I had asked you, I said, remember I asked you like 3 weeks
let
ago?
me just see, because I try to find it here.
The first two, so you don't have to scroll.
The following hadith also includes speaking another language in front of others who don't understand. Oh, yeah. If you're talking about the najwa, yeah. Yeah, it does include that.
I had asked you about this like 3 weeks ago.
If you know, because it might happen that you're in the company of another person, one other person, like, for example, we're speaking in Arabic. Maybe the person that I'm speaking to, he only speaks Arabic. But the other person that's with us, he doesn't speak Arabic, he only speaks English. So you get the person's permission, and you tell him, like, look, I have to talk to him about something in Arabic, and explain to him what you're saying, so he doesn't feel like left out of the conversation. Shaitan can't come to him and make him think like, oh, they're talking about me, or maybe they're trying to kidnap me, or, you know, whatever. You know, obviously that's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, just, you know, get the person's permission, you know. But speaking another language, or speaking any, you know, whispering amongst each other, or speaking another language, all of that falls into that category.
Thank you, Chair. Well, because then I was just questioning.
So,
We have a question from you have the question. It says, what are the prerequisites for leadership, and what should we read regarding leadership?
nah, but I mean, the thing is we talked about this before, right? You can read Sahih Bukhari you can read Sahih Bukhari night and day. You can read Sahih Muslim night and day. But that doesn't mean that you're going to focus on the aspects of leadership when you read it, because you're not reading it with that type of mindset. You're not looking for that. You can't look for something that you don't understand what it is in the first place. So when you understand, I mean, and this is like like the common question that like a lot of the people ask on social media, even people, they ask, it's like, because most of the books that are written on leadership are written by who? They're written by the kuffar. Now, does that mean that these books are bad? Does it mean that they're bad? I'm asking y'all.
Yes.
They're bad.
Of course.
Because they're written by kuffar.
Because they're going to be judging by Allah other than Allah's will.
How are they judging? They're not calling it Christianity, akhi. They're just telling you that what the qualities of a leader are. And whatever you find that agrees with the Quran and the Sunnah, okay, khalas. But the thing is you would never think. You see, when I started reading those books a long time ago, and I started looking at it, I said, oh yeah, we have a hadith for this. But I never looked at the hadith in that manner until I read those books. So, but the point is like what he's talking about, probably Allah knows best, and why the situation is because we have people that are in positions of leadership. Just like we have people who are in positions of authority, but they're not trying to even learn what their role is and what they're supposed to do and what their responsibilities are. So any person that has that type of role, then he should be trying to seek out and read different, obviously the best thing to read it from is the Quran and the Sunnah. But are you going to read it with that mindset? No, you're not going to read it with that mindset. Why? Because you have been taught to be a follower your whole life. You've been taught to be a blind follower in this American society. They didn't teach you this stuff in school. Nobody sat down and said that, these are the qualities of a leader. These are the responsibilities of a leader. These are the principles of leadership. Nobody taught you this in school. And if you didn't have the type of desire to go and get that information on your own, guess what? You never got it. So now how are you going to read the Sunnah looking for this stuff? You haven't developed the mindset to see it in the first place because it was never given to you. You're reading the Sunnah with what? A blind follower's mindset. The mindset that this American corrupt society has given you. So until you have to change that mindset. You sit with the ulama and you see real leaders. And you see, but I'm not talking about just sitting with like Sheikh Saleh Fawzan for like 30 minutes, a couple of days a week, and he leaves, you leave. No, I mean sitting in a place where you can watch him, and you can see him in his day-to-day life, and you see how he carries himself, how he deals with issues, how he deals with tribes, how he deals with problems amongst students, how he deals with all the things that are going on, and you see his leadership. Now when you read through the Sunnah, now you're looking for those things, you're looking for those qualities, and you see that. But if you don't know this stuff and you're not reading with that type of mindset, you can read the Sunnah day and night, but you're not going to see it because you're reading it with a what? This filter that this corrupt society has put on your mind. You're not going to see it because this society does not want you to like become independent. Obviously nobody becomes independent because we're all dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what I'm talking about is independent from the people. They don't want you. They're not trying to develop you like that. They want you to need them day in and day out. So how do you do that? To raise a nation of what? A bunch of blind followers. And then they take this same filter and then they come into the deen and they do the same thing and they call the people to the same thing. No. We read those books, but we take the good and we leave the bad. Well, the people that haven't studied Aqidah, that haven't studied the deen, probably shouldn't even be reading these books in the first place. They should be focusing on their correct beliefs. But as far as like actually leader, any person that's in a position of leadership should understand what his responsibilities are, what his role is, what he's supposed to do, what he's not supposed to do. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Kullukum ra'in, wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi." All of you, all of you, every single person in some aspect of his life is in a role of leadership. Everybody. You might not be the leader at work, but you have to come home. You have a family. Who's leading them? You putting the whole house and the leadership of the house in your wife's hands? Huh? La yuflihukum was yatawalla amrahum al-mar'ah. Mar'atun. So you put the leadership of the house in the hands of the wife, and the Prophet ﷺ said what? That no people will ever be successful if their affairs are put into the hands of a woman. And that's it. You're the man. You're supposed to be the leader. So as the leader of the house, you should understand what your responsibilities are. You should know this. You should, so read through the Quran and the Sunnah and see what your responsibilities are as a man in your house. If you're a leader out in the community, you need to know what your responsibilities are. Where it starts and where it stops, because you also need to know the boundaries. If you're not studying these things and you're not learning these things, then one, you're going to fail the people, you're going to fail the community, and you'll fail yourself. So, this is of utmost importance. People should be, and I honestly, Akhi, if the students of knowledge can read through these books that these kuffar have written about leadership, because there are some very good books, but they bring examples of what? They bring these examples from all these other kuffar. All these they told a story about Benjamin Franklin. Ain't nobody care about no kafir, dirty, rotten, stinky kafir like Benjamin Franklin. That dude was a mulhid, a complete atheist. Akhi. Ain't nobody care about Benjamin Franklin and what he did. Give us examples from the Quran and the Sunnah. So if somebody can go through those types of books and take the good that's in those books and put it, and where the Muslims now they can read this type of material, but see it in the light of the Quran and the Sunnah, and see it like through the lives of the Salaf, alhamdulillah, that's a ni'mah. And we won't have to read these books. But right now, who's writing about this? Show me one Muslim author right now.
Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah has a book called Siyasat al-Islam.
No, but that's the Siyasat al-Shar'iyya. It's talking about the leadership of a country. But we're talking about like right now. You have imams in the masjid, you have people who are put in responsibility of the masjid, and you have leaders in the community, and you have managers at work. What is their job? So now when he's trying to read these, look for material to read, he's gonna have to go be reading books by like, John Maxwell and Peter Drucker and all these types of kuffar, which, like I said, I've read these books. I've read probably every single book about this topic that I know what time it is, Akhi. Every single book, that I had, now I wouldn't say I read every single book, but almost every book that came through my hands, I read it on this topic. And I continue to read them. You take the good, you leave, but this is something that hopefully, inshallah, one day the Muslims can start to read this, get all the good stuff out of it, put it with examples from the Quran and the Sunnah, and in that way the people can understand what real leadership is about. Because even like John Maxwell, he wrote a book, it's called 5 Levels of Leadership. Akhi, when he was talking about a level 5 leader, the whole time I was just saying, subhanAllah, he's talking about Sheikh Mubal. He's talking about Sheikh Mubal. And more than that, he's talking about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Sheikh Mubal only got to the level that he got to by what? Following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't get to that level on his own, doing his own thing. He did that through correct following, but not blind following. Not blind following. So Allah musta'an. Somebody here is asking about Mundir. It's called by his name. Akhi, Mundir is a student of knowledge who's very beneficial. He's Mustafid. And anybody that is in the Bay Area should go and study with Mundir. Anybody that's in Michigan should go study with Abdul Hakim. Anybody that's in Fresno should go study with Mundir. He's a very beneficial brother. Very beneficial brother. You're talking about people that gave their lives, gave up their lives and years and years and years of their lives and their comfort. Actually, that brother could have come back to America. He comes from a very good family. I'm not saying that they're well off. I don't know their financial situation, but I'm just saying he comes from a very good family. So when he first went to Damaj, it was his family. I think his mother, his brother, they all went to Damaj together. So the whole family was trying to seek knowledge, So, and that's a good situation, And he stayed there and he remained patient through all the things that they had to go through. Alhamdulillah. And he learned his deen. Gave up all the comforts of his life to learn his deen. Those are the people that you want to benefit from. Abdul Hakim the same. So people go back. You have the opportunity to benefit from brothers like that. Benefit. Don't waste your time with these other charlatans, mutahawliqeen. The people that sit there and just put on like costumes and run around and act like, because they went out and studied for 6 months or 9 months, and now all of a sudden he's Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Leave these jokers. These brothers that sat there and gave up years and years, decades of their lives to try to learn their deen so they can remove the ignorance from themselves and then come back and call the people to the correct deen. You have the opportunity to benefit from them, benefit from them. That's the most important thing.
Question says from Muslimin, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Is this only with...
Hold on, because I got a message, the question, a certain aspect of the question. The prerequisites of leadership was the first part of the question. All right, the prerequisites of leadership is that you lead yourself. You need to know what's incumbent upon you, and you have to discipline yourself to do that every single day. You can't discipline other people and you can't discipline yourself. You're waking up your kids and telling your kids, y'all got to pray Fajr in the masjid, but you're oversleeping. That doesn't work. You have to be right at the forefront. When you tell them to do things, what? You're doing it with them. But first you have to be the person who does it. That's the first prerequisite. You can't sit here and expect people to do what you want them to do and you're not doing it. People aren't stupid like that, Akhi. People might trust you for a little while, but once they see the reality, Akhi, they're not going to trust you no more. And when you lose trust of the people, it's over. It's done. You might as well go find a new job, Akhi, because it's done for you. It's very difficult to regain. Not saying that it can't happen, but to regain the trust of the people, Akhi, it's very difficult. Once you've gained the trust of the people and you've done something stupid, to lose that trust, it's very difficult to get it back. So first off, you work on yourself. If you're busy working on yourself, the people will notice that. People will see that. You don't have to do this for the people. You do it for Allah. People will see it. People are going to see it. You don't even have to worry about that. But the thing is you have to set the example. As a leader, you're leading from the front. You're not leading from the back. You're not sitting back in a room telling people to go do this and go do that. This is not the way it goes. You want to tell people to do something, you're the first one to do it. And then let the people come behind you and follow you in it. Because that's what you're supposed to be. And obviously, Quran and the Sunnah and that knowledge, because that's what you're leading the people to. You're not leading them to yourself. You're taking the people and you say, hey, look, I know where the path is. Y'all come with me, I'm going to show you. This is it. This is the path. And you teach them the Quran and the Sunnah. But if you don't have that knowledge, the person who doesn't possess it, he can't give it. So how is he going to show the people to the correct path and he himself can't even follow it himself? He doesn't even know. He's over there running through life, doesn't know was he going left or right, doesn't even know. And GPS can't help him either. So Allah musta'an. First thing is you work on yourself. That's the prerequisite. You focus on yourself and you fix yourself first. If your life is in disarray and complete just fawda, how are you supposed to fix a community? And how are you supposed to fix the people around you? And how are you supposed to fix the situation of the Muslims in its entirety? That doesn't work. You see, the best example is the example of the Prophet ﷺ. But like I said, you got to read through his sunnah, trying to understand that, trying to learn that. Because if you're just reading it just to read it, you're not going to get, you have to read with a purpose. You're going and reading a book, and that's why you can see. You could take, for example, and I'll use this as an example, but we can use any book as an example. It doesn't have to necessarily be the Sunnah. It could be a book by Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Any book that you read, you have to have a purpose in mind. You're not just reading it for entertainment. This is not a Stephen King novel. There has to be a purpose. What are you trying to learn from the book? But then if you realize after you've read through the book that you notice certain things, so now you say like what? I'm going to read it again, but I'm going to read it now with a different purpose in mind. It's like a new book all of a sudden. Even though you just read the book, but now you read it for the second time, but the purpose changed. The goal changed, and what you're trying to get out of the book changed. What happens now? It's a whole different book. It's the same book that you just read, but it's not the same because you're looking at it differently. So whenever you're reading and trying to learn these things, you have to do it with a purpose. It has to be intentional. You can't just like pick up books and just read them for fun. You know, that's entertainment now. And we talked about entertainment. Entertainment doesn't bring you any benefit. You bring up, you pull up, you know, open up a book of the Sunnah and you're reading it. What's your purpose of reading it? Oh, I just want to read it because I just want to read Bukhari. Or I want to read Sunan Abi Dawud. So guess what you're going to get out of that book? Very little to nothing. You're just reading it. Read it with a purpose. Focus on certain things. Like, okay, now I'm going to go through Bukhari because I want to look at the chains and narrations. Yeah, I'm going to benefit from all the other stuff, but right now my purpose is what? To focus on the chains. Now I read it. So what do you think I'm going to come out with now at the end of Bukhari? You think I'm going to come out with my purpose? More than likely. Now I'll read through Bukhari and now I start to hear these names and I know who these people are. Because that was my focus. Now I want to go back and I want to read Bukhari one more time because I want to focus on his abwab, the anaween, you know, the chapter headings. And I want to see the connection between the hadith and the chapter headings. Now I'm going to focus on that because that's the fiqh of Bukhari. Now I want to see this so I can see the opinions of Bukhari and how he got that opinion from the hadith. Now that's my focus. Now the third time I read it again and I want to focus, whatever. You know, the focus changes, and every time that the focus changes, guess what? It's the same book, but it's different focus, different, you know, so it's like it's a whole new book. That's why we can sit here and read the Quran over and over and over again. You know, because every time that you might be reading the Quran looking for something different, trying to understand something different. Maybe sometimes you're looking at it from a language perspective. Maybe sometimes you're reading the Quran because you want to like go through the different stories. Maybe sometimes you're just feeling sad. You just pick up the Quran and you want to read it just to what? Because you read and try to understand the Quran, but every time that you read the Quran is for a different purpose. You see, like that's why we can sit here and read the same book 100 times, more than 100 times. And it's like a new book every time that we read it. Like it doesn't get old. It doesn't get old because the purposes of why we read it, they, are ever changing. They're ever changing. So we're always benefiting because the book is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has laid out everything that we need to know to be successful in our dunya and to be successful in the akhirah. So every time that perspective changes and what we're reading for, we're benefiting something new. We're getting something new from it. And that's the ni'mah of this deen and the knowledge of this deen. So the prerequisite is always focus on yourself and start learning with purpose. Start taking responsibility for yourself. Start taking responsibility for your learning. It's nobody else's responsibility. You know, you have to go out and you have to get it. It's called seeking knowledge. It's not sitting around waiting for it to drop on your doorstep like an Amazon package. All right, what's the next question?
Regarding the hadith, or regarding the ruling about the three people, speaking, says, "Min al-Muslimin, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen." Is this only with three people, or the minimum is three with speaking another language?
If there's two separate groups and the person he's got somebody he's talking to and you got somebody that you're talking to, then it's not an issue. It's not an issue because there's two groups, but it's the tanaji here, like the najwa, is between you're leaving one or two people. It doesn't. The number is not important. Because what happens now if you invite three guests over? Four, let's say four. One's an Arab, another guy is Russian, another guy is Mexican, and another guy, he speaks English. The Arab doesn't speak these other three languages, and those other three languages don't speak Arabic, nor do they speak English to speak with each other. But you speak all these languages, right? But you start focusing on talking to the Arab person, right, in Arabic, right? And you leave out these other three people. They can't talk to each other, can they? They're going to be sitting back like, what are they talking about? So again, that's still a najwa. So you look at the situation. If you got three other English speakers now, they can talk amongst themselves. You tell them, like, look, I need to speak with him in Arabic because he doesn't understand English. Y'all chat amongst yourselves. This is what we're talking about. And then that's it, inshallah.
Someone says, Hamid Jamal, my cousin has children, so he has toys with faces, and so does this affect his salah in the house? What he does is cover it with a blanket.
It doesn't matter, the angels ain't coming in your house. Surah. So anything like that, then you get rid of it. Get rid of it. The angels aren't coming in your house, and who's coming in your house? If the angels aren't coming in your house. There you go. You want to set up a house, and you know, this is advice to everybody, advice to myself. Because like, we live in a society where it's like, you see that? I put a receipt in the book, you know, there's a face on the receipt. Didn't even focus on it. I mean, with this type of stuff, I think we got to, you know, really focus on, because you want to set the environment of the house where the angels come into your house. But if you're not, then you're setting the environment of the house for what? Shayateen to come into your house. And what do you think is going to happen?
I think from Rashid says, so then what about with a parent and their children? Does the parent have the right to listen to the closed door of the children?
It's their house. They think that the child's doing something wrong, they got every right.
So just the father or the mother? Because the mother, she's not the head of the household.
She's a mas'ul. She's a ra'iyah. And it's her responsibility to take care of that house and the family in the father's absence. It's her job. She's the authority figure in that house. She has every right to do that.
Even when the father's home?
Huh?
Even if the father's in the house?
So who do you think? She's going to do this without his knowledge? You know?
What is the ruling on me opening a bank account to obtain a debit card?
I mean, see, the thing about it is, too, is like, this is from the kuffar, right? See, in our house, nobody keeps their door shut. Nobody. Not me, not my kids, nobody. Nobody's doing that. So, khalas, everybody, yeah, your whole life, have you ever been in the house with the door shut? No. That's it. I mean, I'm talking just in normal hours. And obviously, yeah, you know, I'm like, my wife, I'm with my wife, y'all go away, close the door. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm not talking about like that type of stuff. But I'm saying, like, right now, everybody keeps the door open. Everybody. And that way, khalas, you don't have these types of issues of people hiding and doing stuff, and what's he doing in there? You don't need to have suspicion. It's your house. You don't take the door off the hinges if you have to.
What is the ruling this is a question from Mustafa. What is the ruling on me opening a bank account to obtain a debit card if I don't have a great need for it? I'm young and don't have that much money that I can't keep at home.
The debit card is the one that doesn't have interest, right?
But I think if you, certain banks, if you keep that money, if you keep like a lot of money in that bank account for a certain amount of time, even a debit card, even in the check Bank of America, they added it.
I don't know about Bank of America.
If you do it like that,
the other banks they don't. If you do the debit, the checking account, there's no interest on it. Most banks, I don't. So you find it.
I read it recently. They did if you keep
that's
it.
maybe that bank I'm saying.
That's why I said certain banks.
Yeah, so find the banks that don't do the interest. I mean, regardless, Akhi, if you can avoid putting your money in a bank, do it. These banks, Akhi, they're the biggest thieves in the world, man. Politicians and bankers. I mean, seriously, you want, like, if you know, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took these two people from amongst us, maybe a lot of khair, you know, what happened in this world. But boy, the two people that have caused the biggest corruption in this land, I mean, obviously kuffar, but I'm saying the kuffar is an umbrella. It's a big umbrella term, but we're talking about amongst the kuffar, the politicians and the people that work in these banks. Huh?
And Raf.
Well, the Rafidah have caused corruption amongst Muslims. Well, I'm talking about the whole world. The whole world. The banks have caused all societies just to go into like the state of economic slavery. No, it's like, Rafidah can't even, you know, that's a dream of the Rafidah to have that type of power. You know, all they can do is just go through and just cause corruption, and they cause corruption in the Aqidah, and they cause wars, killing and fighting, and you know, and instability in the countries. But who started that instability? Where did it start? Who gave them the road in? It started when these countries started borrowing money from these international banks. And then they can't pay the money back, and then the international bank said, hey, you don't want to pay the money back. Well, hey, we got some homeboys that will go in, you know, motivate you to get the money coming back. And then there you go. Enter the Rafidah. Because that's what they are, akhi. They're a bunch of prostitutes for these kuffar all the time. All throughout history, that's all they've ever been. You know, they've always, the kuffar, they use them as like little pawns whenever they want to use them. So whenever the Muslim countries, they don't like something in the Muslim countries, activate Rafidah. You know?
You said if the Muslims don't like something.
No, if the kuffar don't like something in the Muslim countries, I
You
mean.
said if the Muslims.
Yeah. If the kuffar don't like it, then they go activate the Rafidah. Go, do your job. You know? That's all they are, a bunch of do boys for the kuffar. So Allah understand.
Hamid Jamal says, one day in Salat al-Fajr, I know I was praying in those 2 rak'at and in Tashahhud. I was disconnected, and then after a while, I'm back awake. So I was going home and had doubt, so I prayed again.
No, you don't have to pray. That's wasawis. You prayed. Khalas. What are you doubting?
Mustafa says, what is the ruling on obeying parents and leaving a mustahab matter? And is this giving priority to a mustahab over a wajib?
No, obedience to your parents is wajib. So you can't put something that's mustahab over the obedience to your parents.
What if the parent says, I don't want you to pray the 4 rak'at before Dhuhr? And that's mustahab.
But that's obedience. They're telling you not to do something. Well, you don't obey them in those types of matters. But if your mother says, like right now, I need help in the kitchen, but you say, but I gotta pray 4 rak'ahs. No, you go help your mother. You know, that's the priority. That's wajib. Now, when the salat comes in, the farad, that's the wajib that you have to be doing. Now you have to go to the masjid. You pray in the masjid. You go back and you help your mother. You know, but I mean, not as far as like your mother saying, no, you're not praying these 4 rak'ahs. But you go back to the qissa of Jurayj, you know.
How can someone benefit from Sheikh Mundir? Like, does he have Telegram or YouTube?
I think he's got Telegram. I'm not sure. Let me check. Let's see what the name of it is.
He said he wanted to go home and eat.
Man, if I'm going, I'm going. I don't know if it's on here or not, so I don't. I gotta search for it because I'm not subscribed to his page. It's his name. So Abu Rizq Mundar ibn Muhammad. That's his Telegram channel. Al-Amriki. Abu Rizq Mundar. So Mundhir ibn Muhammad Al-Amriki. That's his page. Yeah, so it's on Telegram.
Are we going to take Bulugh al-Maram? Questioner from Min al-Muslimin, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen.
Yeah, inshallah.
Can I?
No, not tonight. I thought they meant like, are we going to actually study Bulugh al-Maram from the beginning to the end? You know, I say that's the intention, you know.
And al-Muslimin, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen says, is it permissible for a woman on her monthly visit to fake pray while traveling with her mahram so he doesn't know she is on it?
No.
You're going to find out regardless when it comes to nighttime.
No, but you're praying. Even if you're going through the motions, that's no, you can't do that. Yeah. That's what the Sahara do. You know, when they're going through their like initiation process into witchcraft, they go into a state of like, you know, of janaba, or you know, and then they go in and they pray. So no, that's not permissible.
Take your water.
No, this is mine. Somebody beat me to it. But yeah, if somebody can post a link for Mundar's Telegram. I think the people are trying to do it.
Someone says, Ustaz, another from Dhul Fiqar Abdul Qadir Khan says, Ustaz, Bangladesh has a female ruler. Is it okay to protest against?
No. Protesting has nothing to do with this deen, actually.
This person says, like in Pakistan they say Hazrat, because the question is Hazrat, or they say Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Muhammad, Hazrat Ibrahim, obviously Prophet Ibrahim. What is this Hazrat?
I've read about this before. It comes from the word hadarat. I think that's where they're getting it from. And if they're saying like the person is like hadar or something like that, I don't know. But I don't know. You have to ask them, inshallah, because it's from their language. So I think it's a Urdu.
المصريين يستعملوه.
Huh?
المصريين يستعملوه.
ايش شو؟
المصريين يستعملوه.
No, they say Sayyidina. The Muslims, they say Sayyidina.
Everything Sayyid. Sayyidina Ali, Sayyidina Aisha, Sayyidina.
Especially Ali, they say Sayyidina. And Sayyidina Muhammad, that's what they say.
Go ahead, next one.
They said Hazrat Aisha.
I just read Aisha, but
Aisha.
like I said, that thing, I read it before, but I can't remember what it was. But it's something that the asl of it goes back to stuff that it's kind of like a shirky type stuff. But I got to go back and read it again. But go ahead.
Aisha had dolls. What extent, like question after dolls, what extent are statues and these things allowed for children?
دع ما يريبك إلى ما يريبك. Get rid of all that stuff. Because again, you're getting them accustomed to, and and since you don't, and the reason why I'm thinking about it, because she had little toys that she used to play with. Does that mean that she had a Barbie doll with a full face and a full body, like so the people, y'all gotta go back and stop reading this stuff in English, and the translation of the stuff in English, and go back. And if you can't understand it, then don't try to say, oh, she had a doll, I'm gonna go buy my son some Pokemon dolls or something like that. I don't know, man. I see what the people play with. But the point is like, nah, that's not what they had back then. They lived out in the desert, akhi. You understand? So if she had like these little doll things that she used to play with, what do you think that it was? You think that it was like sit there like as a perfect human being? No. So all that stuff has no place in our, khalas. We don't need this stuff. We don't need this stuff, Get rid of it, khalas.
Guy says, do you know Sheikh Abdul Aziz Haqqan?
You keep asking me the same question. So I've already answered this question before. And if what is it? The Jakarta is in the chat, then you can post my answer to this question that we previously talked about this before.
It says, I think when Mustafa was asking about, can you obey your parents if they tell you to not do something mustahab, he said, what I mean is like telling the son not to spread knowledge online or to not attend the durus, etc. because of the parents not being upon correct manhaj.
No, the obedience is not, no. Because if you're the person that has the knowledge, because that depends, even the situation could change from person to person. So some people, they have knowledge that, you might be in an area where it's farad ayn upon you to spread that knowledge. You don't have no obedience to anybody telling you to stop spreading that knowledge. The people are engulfed in shirk, or they're engulfed in bid'ah, or they're engulfed in all these types of things that you start to see in all the different Muslim communities. You have the knowledge, and you see what's wrong, and you can teach the people, then that's that could become a complete, that could be farad ayn upon you. And in that case, no, you can't stop for nobody. Nobody.
Someone says,
Stop touching the screen, man, because every time you touch the screen, it keeps making the video dark. He did that before, and see, now look at it. Yeah. Don't touch the screen. Yeah, that's why, Mujahid, he uses his other phone. He uses the other phone to check. Like whenever this is like, just leave it. Cause I keep seeing the screen keep going black, and then yeah.
The Ummah says.
Thank you, El Jakarti, for posting what you posted. Yes.
The Ummah says about the pictures. I have some products for my cat, like cat food, with cat picture on it. Can I keep it in a closet, or do I need to remove it?
If the picture is in the house, which reminds me, we gotta cut the picture off the cat food. So I've got the bag of cat food in the house. You just reminded me. Now, if the picture's in the house, you gotta get rid of it. Doesn't matter if it's hidden in the house. It says, الملائكة لا تدخل بيتا فيه كلب ولا صورة. Doesn't matter where, if you put it underneath the bed, it doesn't matter. It's what? It's in the house, isn't it?
Or you take like a black Sharpie.
Yeah, you cross it out, yeah. Yeah, you take a black Sharpie, make sure it's permanent, yeah. But you got to be careful, because some of these things, we've done this before, where it's like glossy. And you do that, and you keep touching on the gloss, and then the Sharpie comes off. In that case, maybe put, I mean,
Just get a box cutter.
I mean, maybe you could.
My cat, I got someone's canned food, so I can't just picture.
Oh no, but the canned food, it's got a label around it, right? Hey, just cut the label. Oh, some of them it's like actually imprinted onto the can. No, but I mean, like when you buy the stuff, just try to buy the stuff that doesn't have, or that has a label that you can rip off and just throw in the garbage and get rid of it. Yeah.
من المسلمين الحمد لله رب العالمين says, is it permissible for a woman to walk on stage to receive an award? And what age should a girl who isn't accountable stop doing this?
A woman walk on stage to receive a reward in front of a bunch of dudes.
Haram. Haram.
Shouldn't be in that environment in the first place. But again, there's another aspect of it, other than the aspect of her being a woman, walking on stage in front of a bunch of dudes, maybe even getting a reward from a guy who's not a mahram for her. And it's a good thing that I don't have the microphone on, because if I had the microphone on, y'all be hearing my stomach growling right now, because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since like early. That doesn't matter, man. It happens. I get entrenched in this stuff, so now I forget. But this is a celebration of the kuffar. There's nothing in our deen where we celebrate getting rewards and getting, man, mail that stuff to me. You can mail it to me. I don't need to get up on your stage and do nothing, participate in any of these types of celebrations and these functions that these kuffar have. Nah, mail it to me. What were you doing it for anyways? For the piece of paper? No, if there's something that you were doing it for, you did it for the purpose of whatever you were gaining, whether it was knowledge or anything like that. Khalas.
I tell you, even inshallah, if I get my civil engineering degree, I'm not going to graduation. I'm coming here to the classes, whatever book
It's not permissible to go into graduation. One is the ikhtilat, two, the music, three, just everything, and then you got to dress up in these specific clothes that the kuffar tell you, nah, this is all taqleed. So none of this is permissible. Mail that stuff to me. Here's my address. Mail me my papers, my degree, whatever.
Like girls, when it comes to, especially today, when it comes to the graduation day, the amount of tabarruj, it's not like level 1 tabarruj, it's like level 1000 tabarruj. Like they almost put as much tabarruj as like a stripper. I'm being serious. Tabarruj is like when a woman beautifies herself in a haram manner.
Take like one or two more and we gotta go.
They said because one of my family members did this. I thought it was haram. You thought right. Fatima says, can a niece tell an aunt no if the niece bought something and the aunt want some of it? Can an aunt make them give them some, or even do so much as they take it by force? But
Well, I'm sitting here, I'm reading the question as you're reading it. I mean, no. It's the
Sorry for the typos.
the obedience. If it's talking about like, can she say no? If the aunt, which is the mother, obviously is either could be the mother's sister, it could be the father's sister, but either way it goes, she's still a person of authority. You can't just like disrespect her, say no to her. No.
Well, we can't say no to an aunt.
If she's like, what's she asking you to do?
Go give
Help me out, go do this, I need help with this, go do it.
Would it be haram to say no?
Why would you say no?
No, I'm saying, what's the hukum? Like, what's the ruling?
That's a part of, because if she's like, let's say that this is the mother's sister, and the mother's close to that sister, and you go and tell her no, who are you disrespecting? You're disrespecting her and your mother. So this, again, we talked about this in the whole chapter on Birr al-Walidain. So now let's say that there's a sister, it's an aunt, and the mother and this sister, they're like mortal enemies. You understand? They hate each other. And if you go to the aunt to help her out, the mother might get angry. So now this is a situation you're like, okay, what do I do? I want to help my aunt out, but if I go and help her out and my mother knows about it, then it's going to cause problems with my mother. And my mother told me don't ever go over there. So, this is a situation where you can say, but to say like, okay, she needs help and you go help her, you go help her.
Saying. Oh, then a sister says, my name's Ukht, so does the concept of deja vu conflict with Islam? You know what deja vu is?
Yeah, I know what it is. I know how deja vu is like you see something in a dream and then you see it in real life and you're like, oh, it's like I've seen this before. But see, when you talk about the Kufar's understanding of deja vu, then yes, that conflicts with Islam. Because they believe like, oh, I saw this in one of my previous existences. Akhi, what are you, a Hindu? What did you saw this when you were in your previous existence as a cow, and then when you came back as a human, now you see it again, and no, this is just, these are things that you saw in a dream, and then you're there and you're like, wait, I've seen this before. That's it, khalas. It's just, it's nothing, but as far as like their concept of deja vu, yeah, it's not permissible. It's cool. I saw this in a previous life. You had no previous life. This is your only life. You got one chance. That's it. You're not coming back as no cockroach. You're not coming back as nothing else. This is your life. After this, you're either going to Jannah or you're going to Jahannam. That's it.
Just to add on what you said, deja vu doesn't just have to, like the quote-unquote good deja vu. It doesn't have to just be dreams. Like there's been sometimes, literally, when I'm at work, I literally felt like, what the heck, I've done this before.
Because you've seen it in a dream, your subconscious remembers it, your active mind doesn't remember it. So when you see it now, it comes out of the subconscious into your active mind, but that's why you can't remember where you saw it before. Because you saw it in a dream. It's something that you saw in a dream, but you can't remember it because it was just a dream. It's just, sometimes you just have like dreams. You're just walking down the hallway, you're in a school or something like that, but then you're actually in that hallway in the school, you're like, wait a second, but it was something that you weren't focused on. So, but it sits in your subconscious mind. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, this is, it's just something that you saw in a dream, but it's not something you saw in a previous life, One more important question and we go eat.
I just want to see if I missed any from the above.
I guess somebody just threw in one question for you.
Oh, can I read it? I see why you're laughing.
Go read it.
Al-Muslimin, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen says, if one is praying in the masjid, not the jama'ah, but a prayer by himself, should you stand next to him and connect your feet and shoulder with him if you're praying another salah?
If you came into the masjid and he's praying like sunnah, but you came into the masjid and you want to pray, say dhuhr, your intention is your intention, and his intention is his intention. You go next to him and you pray. You know, or in this, I mean, if it's, you pray. That's it. You know.
One time I was in New York and I was praying the Sunnah after Maghrib. But I think he missed the Maghrib Jama'ah. He just straight up joined me when I'm praying my 2 rak'at. I was like, what do I do? So I was like, I just finished praying the Sunnah, and then after the Salah I said, Akhi, listen, I wasn't praying Maghrib.
Doesn't matter.
Was I just supposed to change the niyyah to pray Maghrib again?
No, you just pray what you're praying.
Okay.
You got your intention, he's got his intention.
But
You know?
we both have reward together as Jama'ah or no?
I mean, he gets his jama'ah, that's what he wanted.
Hmm.
Yeah. Some of the ulama say no, that you can't do that, but no, that's marujur.
Is there any dalil for that?
Yeah, the Prophet commanded the guy. He said, go, I mean, he told him to pray with his, find the exact hadith. I don't got it, the exact wording in my head right now. But he told him, he said, you know, tasaddaq ala akhik or something like it to that nature.
Fatima said, when a dream feels real, what do that mean?
And learn a lesson from it. I mean, it depends on, like, all the dreams, akhi. That's a whole lesson in itself anyways. You have a dream, you have 3 types, right? There's a dream from Allah, a dream from the shaitan, and a dream from the nafs. It's from yourself. It's just like your thoughts and the things that are going on in your head. A dream from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it could be to warn you against something, or it could be to give you like glad tidings of you so you continue doing something. You know, it's something that has a message in it, you know, so like something that you might need to stay away from, or something like that, like as a warning. Because everything, as we see throughout the Quran, is what? Targheeb wa tarheeb. So something that's promoting, you know, encouraging you to do something good, or something that's causing you to become fearful from doing something bad. And the other dream from shaitan is a dream of desires. It makes you desire things. You know,
What dream?
Well, that's one aspect of it, you know. But just the dreams of desires. And then you just got the hadith of nafs, like things that you just see throughout the day, and it just comes out, you know, in your dreams, you know.
One time I worked like 12 hours. I went to bed. I had a dream of work, and I had to go to work the same day. So when I was awake, I was at work. When I was asleep, I was at work. And then when I woke up, I had to go to work. Huh? I'm working a lot. So someone said about من المسلمين الحمد لله رب العالمين said بارك الله فيكم. What if they are praying a non-fard?
It doesn't matter. I said you have your intention. They have their intention, you have yours.
Rashid says, I know someone who didn't get circumcised because of medical reasons, and now if they have an operation, they might be able to be circumcised.
If he's able, he gets circumcised. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's a part of the fitrah.
Is it?
I mean, huh?
Sorry, just to add on because there's still more to it. Says, is it obligatory for him to do the surgery?
If it's not going to cause him any problems, yes. You know, because if whatever caused him not to do it in the first place, as long as that doesn't exist, then he should get the surgery done. You know, because it's obligatory. It's circumcision. That's from our deen, so that's from the fitrah. So you have to do that. Why would you not want to do that? You know, subhanAllah.
Alright, that's all the questions for tonight.
All right, subhanAllah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
صباح الخير. صباح على خير.